Glad that's so. Oh, hello. Sorry I wasn't here when you came. I was out attending to a patient. It wasn't anything critical, although it certainly sounded like it when it first started out. I was informed that one of the track layers had smashed his foot with one of the large sledgehammers used to drive the stakes. So I grabbed my bag and my medical bag so I wouldn't have to drag that around all the way. Inside here, it's very handy, it's very convenient. Little leather pouch with assorted medicines in case I happen to need them. I didn't, not this time. When I got there, as it turned out, no one smacked his foot with a sledgehammer. What somebody did was he had a keg of iron spikes and he dropped it on his foot, and one of his toes has an ingrown toenail. And it must have hurt quite badly from the way he was screaming. So I grabbed one of my saws and I got a couple of scalpels and I removed his toenail. Seems to be fine now. Sorry to have missed you. Welcome once again back to the hospital. I'm the doctor, Dr. Toombs. If this is your very first time here at the channel, what we're going to be doing today is going over this book a second time, because this is part 2 of a two-parter on the contents of this book. Now, if you want to know more about the book from the last time we were here discussing it, just go back 2 episodes and it'll be there. We'll still be here when you get back. If you'd rather not go, you're welcome to stay. Now, about the book. Our family physician, all things allopathic. Hard to read, it's old and it's quite damaged. Homeopathic, hydropathic, electric, nope, that's eclectic. And herbal. I had mentioned in the last time we got to do this, although it says hydropathic on the label, I didn't find a great deal of material on hydropathy or hydropathic medicine, whatever you'd like to call it. I'm an allopath. I don't deal normally in hydropathic medicine. But I did manage to find one, in this whole book, one. And we're going to go through it again. What to do in case something happens to you and you are an allopath. It's in the book. Well, if you're not an allopath, if you're a hydropath, at least one example, it's in the book. If you are an eclectic, it's in the book. And if you are a homeopath, it's in the book. We're going to go through phthisis pulmonalis, just as an example. You would know that as pulmonary consumption, or the old man's friend. Goes by a lot of names, none of which are particularly, like the disease, good. Let's see, what does it say? Consumption. Consumption is a wasting away or decay of the body from any cause. But the name is generally applied to pulmonary consumption, which is caused by disease of the lungs. Well, that part's straightforward enough. Everybody will agree on that. Now, if you're an allopath, here's what you're supposed to do. Cod liver oil, phosphate of lime. If anybody comes down with this, and me being an allopath, I don't have any phosphate of lime, they may be in trouble. Yeah, cod liver oil, phosphate of lime, also porter or ale. They might like that, but it's only the froth. Only the froth, not the liquid. I don't think they would care too much about that. And if you happen to have any, some wild cherry bark ground up. Well, if you are an eclectic or an herbal, and I had mentioned in the last episode, the eclectics and the herbals tend to be on the same page. this page 249 in case anybody is curious. Eclectic and herbal. Tincture of bloodroot, fluid extract of wild cherry, infusion of licorice. So far, doesn't sound too bad, might even taste good. And muriate of ammonia. All of a sudden, it does not sound too good anymore. Muriate of ammonia. Mix tablespoon every 2 hours. By the way, don't try any of this at home. This book is from the 1880s. Not exactly what you call modern science here. And what else? What else? Oh, the inhalation of the following will sometimes be beneficial. Nitric acid. Are we still on the eclectics and herbs? Yes, we are. Tannic acid and pure deodorized alcohol. Instructions: mix with water. Inhaling nitric acid, I really can't. Who am I to speak of eclectics and herbalists? I'm not one of them. If that's what they do, if that's what they believe, shame on them. What else do we have here? We have something for the women. Something for the women. Pregnancy with child in a family way. You get the point. There's an advisory here for the women. Since I never have been one and I'm not likely to be one, I can't verify that this is any good. But according to this book, among the Romans there was a law that all pregnant women should wear wide, loose clothing. Was there a law in these days enforcing the mode, there would have been fewer bad gettings up, fallings of the womb, broken breasts. Until I read that, I wasn't aware you could break one of those. And other complaints. Goes down to exercise. This is the most important part of the presentation of the health. Some people have the impression that a pregnant woman should not exercise, but this is a great mistake. It is by this means that she can preserve her health and strength and the increase of the health of the child. Exercise, even to fatigue, is easier born than mental excitement. Diet, plain and nourishing. Somehow those two words don't sound to me like they should go together. But for the condition of morning sickness, pay attention, ladies, and don't do any of this. It may sometimes be avoided by the patient taking a cup of coffee and a little toast in bed before she rises for the day. Drinking freely of champagne is highly recommended as very beneficial. Ale, lemonade, sardines, or smoked herring will sometimes alleviate morning sickness. Now, if you're an allopath, here's what you're supposed to do. Bicarbonate of potash, simple syrup, and distilled water. Simple syrup, the easiest thing I can think of to explain what simple syrup is to a modern audience. If you like pancakes, flapjacks, griddle cakes, whatever you would like to call them, and you pour syrup over them, and it's clear and sweet and does not taste like maples, that's Karo syrup. You might know it in the stores from the Karo syrup brand. That's simple syrup. It's about as simple as you can get. Now, if you're a homeopath, ipecac, tobacum, supposed to combat nausea, arsenicum, nux vomica, and camphor. Ladies, no, I can't say try this. Let me know if it actually works, because you should not try any of this under any circumstance. And somehow, although I'm not a homeopath, I really can't see taking ipecac to induce vomiting having any sort of advantage in combating morning sickness. Now, the eclectics and the herbalists, what do they do? Again, the eclectics and the herbalists tend to be on the same page. A tea of red rose willow bark will sometimes relieve, or a cup of chamomile or peppermint tea taken about an hour before rising in the morning. Sounds harmless. Effectual, I can't verify that, but it does sound good tasting anyway. If the sickness continues at intervals during the day, the following mixture should be taken every 3 or 4 hours. Calcinated magnesia, aromatic tincture of rhubarb, water of pure ammonia, and distilled water. No, not for me. And dentition for, in other words, teething. If you have a child and it is teething, here's what you're supposed to do. First, a slight description. The period of teething is one fraught with considerable danger to the infant. Teeth cutting generally begins between the ages of 5 and 7 months. It is indicated by redness, heat, and tenderness of the gums and salivation, commonly called drooling. If that's true, I've seen many a man affected with teething from the way that they drool. Sometimes there is watering of the eyes, fever, fretfulness, disturbed sleep. Here's what you're supposed to do. General treatment. When the gums are hot and swollen, and especially if there is a determination of blood in the head, when is there not ever blood to the head? With twitching of the muscles, the gum should be lanced immediately over the tooth. This will generally relieve the symptoms. The child may be allowed to bite upon some hard substance as an ivory ring. Oh, I just happen to have several ivory... No, I don't. Allopathic. Okay, here's my medical. Allopathic. If there is diarrhea with watery stools, give the following: sugar of lead, vinegar, white sugar, and water. Mix. Or, there's an alternative, acetate of morphine in water. I'm sure that'll take care of the pain if there is any. Homeopath. Now here's what they say. Belladonna, chamomile, coffee. This is about coffee. When the child is restless and cannot sleep, has some fever, may be given, this is the coffee, may be given with alteration with belladonna. Yeah, let's just leave that as it is and go on to the next one. And the next one, the last one, is, of all things, mania apatu. You would know it as the DTs, delirium tremens. What is supposed to happen here? Well, first there's the general description. This is a disease to which persons of intemperate habits are liable. Sounds all right so far? Treatment, eclectic and herbal. Sulfate of quinine, sulfate of morphine. Mix. Again, not being an eclectic or an herbalist, I can't verify that, but it doesn't sound terribly bad. Not like giving belladonna to a teething child, as we discussed a few moments ago. Homeopath. What do the homeopaths do for delirium tremens? Opium is the principal remedy. Other remedies may be used are belladonna, nux vomica, digitalis. Okay, I think that's pretty much enough for the DTs. From the sound of it, I rather like the DTs. And that should finish it for this book, thank goodness. I'm still glad I picked it up, even though it's out of my period, as we discussed in the last episode. Some very interesting material. And before, I was sleeping when that fella called to me. Oh, before anything else happens, thank you very much for coming. I always appreciate your visits. If you're new to the channel, brand new, I'm glad you're here. Hope you like what you see, and there will be other installments of the episodes regarding the medical. As you know, there's also another part of the channel discussing American history from the vantage point of an old one-room schoolhouse. These medical episodes, are a subset of that. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you all can stay well. And until the next time our paths cross, I have the great honor to remain your most respectful and obedient servant, sober, Dave Diggs, coming to you from a long time ago. Thank you very much for dropping by. Watch out for the mud hole.